My name is Sean. This happened to me a couple years ago. I was 17 at the time and working part-time at an amusement park. The local fair was set up in our town for a week every summer. Spending time among the lights, music, laughter, and squeaking machines seemed like a dream for a teenager that age. But that summer, everything changed. This was upstate New Jersey, a place we thought was small and safe. The fairgrounds were set up on a big municipal lot. The same company that built the amusement park came there every summer. They would set up for a couple of days before setting up, and then the fair would start. I started work the day before the opening day of the fair. My job was simple. I would work in the booth selling cotton candy and drinks. The best part of the job was that it was open late at night. This meant a bit of freedom. The fair would last until 11, then everyone would disperse. We would clean inside and leave around 12 a.m. The first 2 days were normal, but on the third evening, things started to change. It was around 10:30 p.m. It had gotten a little chilly. I was alone in the booth because the other boy had gone to the restroom. That's when I noticed a silhouette moving in the trees right next to the booth. At first, I didn't pay attention to it. Costume characters used to wander around the fairgrounds. But this was different. The man was completely silent. He was holding a balloon. It was red. He hid his other hand behind his back. And he was dressed as a clown. White face paint, makeup darkening under his eyes, and lips painted with chapped red lipstick. She looked at me without putting down the balloon, without moving, for minutes. The moment our eyes met, a strange chill ran through me. There was no expression on his face. It was as if he was born that way, not someone wearing a costume. Just then the boy came back and I went back inside. He was still there, but only I had noticed him. The next day I was at the same booth at the fair, but I felt uneasy. As the evening progressed, the crowd thinned. It was around 10:30 again, and there he was again, in the same spot, same outfit, same immobility, a balloon in his hand again. But this time he had put the balloon down, and he was standing closer to me. My friend didn't see him this time either. I guess he didn't notice because he was under the shade of the trees. When I went inside and looked again, he was gone. It was as if he had never existed. That night, on my way home, I thought I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around 2 or 3 times, but no one was there. I thought maybe it was just my imagination. But it wasn't. It was Friday, the busiest day of the fair. Work was busy. At 11 o'clock, the fair started to close, and while people were slowly dispersing, I was back there cleaning up. At one point, I took the garbage out and walked a little away from the booth under the dim lights. That's when I heard his voice for the first time, like a whisper. "Sean." I froze, a footstep in the dark, and then another, and silence. I ran inside. My heart felt like it was going to burst out of my chest. I was the last one to leave the booth that night. When I got home, my mother was waiting for me at the door. My eyes were wide and my face was pale. I didn't lie. "Someone might be following me," I said. My mom told me to call the police, but I protested and said, it could just be someone from the amusement park playing a prank. Maybe an employee. Maybe someone having fun. That's what I wanted to convince myself. Saturday night was the last night of the fair. All day I had a feeling of boredom. The hut where I worked was on the outermost side of the park. Its back was facing the empty field. It was dark and full of bushes. At 10:45, I was alone at the booth. The crowd had thinned out. And then a balloon popped with a popping sound. Behind me, I turned around. No one was there. I was about to turn around again, thinking it was just a delusion, when I saw the man. This time he was a few meters in front of me. He was holding a knife. His costume was dirty. His face was sweaty from makeup. But his eyes were like ice. He said, "Are you having fun, Sean?" I started running. I ran all around the park. I wanted to blend in with the crowd, but most of them were gone. As I ran toward the security booth, the man disappeared. The security guard on duty didn't believe me. Every year there are a few pranksters like this, he said. But this was no joke. The man was watching me with a knife in his hand. On the one hand, I was ashamed of feeling paranoid. But on the other hand, I couldn't get that man's face and voice out of my mind. Was he a lunatic dressed as an ordinary clown? Or had he chosen me specifically? Early the next morning, I sat down at my computer and typed keywords like clown attack carnival, creepy clown fair incident, circus stalker into the search engine. I scanned through pages and pages of news stories. At first, only stories about the infamous 2016 clown outbreak came up. But as I dug a little deeper, I found something more remarkable. 3 years ago, a 15-year-old girl went missing from a summer fair in a small town in Ohio. The scene was similar to our fair: woods behind it, poor lighting, inadequate security. Witnesses said the girl had been seen talking to a silent clown shortly before her disappearance. The man was never identified. Another incident: an amusement park worker in Illinois said he was carrying garbage at night when he came face to face with a clown who was carrying a severed stuffed bear. Nothing was caught on camera, but the man's account sounded eerily similar to our own. What's even more bizarre is this: the company that set up the fair was called Joy Trail Amusements. I searched for that name, and it was the same company that set up the fair in the case of the missing girl in Ohio. There was very little information about the company on the internet: a simple website, a phone number, fake images, and a few user comments. But no one knew the owner. No employees were mentioned. I contacted the city office that organizes the fair, and they said it was only a temporary rental agreement. So this company would go to a different town every summer, set up the fair for a few days, and then disappear. There were no tax records, no identity of the owner. It was like it wasn't even real. Then I texted the guy I was working with at the booth. Did he remember that clown? He said, "What clown? Was there only one? There were a couple of them running around. Which one are you talking about?" I described the man I saw: silent, dirty clothes, holding a balloon and not talking. His eyes were black. After a pause, he wrote, "Well, once I thought I saw him back there by the hut, but then he disappeared. I thought it was just a hallucination." So I wasn't alone. Someone else had seen him besides me. I did one last search. This time I went to Reddit and browsed through threads like creepy fair experiences, clown encounter, Joy Trail Amusements. One post caught my attention. It was opened 2 years ago. Title: I think the same clown followed me for days after the fair. Content: the user wrote that he saw a silhouette of a clown outside his window for several nights after the fair in his town. There was no photo, no evidence. But between the lines, he repeats the same sentence: I was his chosen one. He was watching me, and he may still be watching me. The last comment read, "If this fair is coming to your town, don't go. It's real." That night when I shut down the computer, my hands were shaking. This was no longer a joke or a coincidence. Someone could really be using these fairs to track people. And this year, he had chosen me. I didn't go to work the next day. The fair was already packed, but a fear remained inside me. That evening, as I was lying on my bed in my room, I received a text message on my phone. There was no number, just a photo. It was a photo of me working at the booth. Small, distant, but clear, clearly taken at night. A single message underneath: "We had a great time. See you next year." I dropped the phone, called the police, made statements, but there was no trace. The number is unregistered. IP address variable. The amusement park was rebuilt every summer after that. But I never went back. I'm 22 now. I'm out of town. I know what I experienced that summer was not a dream. I still hear the sound of those shoes behind me from time to time. The clown mask smiles, but you never know who's inside. And sometimes, behind the smiling faces, true fear lurks.